Okay, here's my book that I'm reviewing, God in the Equation, subtitled How Einstein Transformed Religion by Corey S. Powell. The subtitle, Einstein Transforming Religion, the word religion there actually should probably be worldview, because it's true that the scientific and academic communities have succeeded in transforming the worldview of most people, and that is, most people believe that science gives us the correct interpretation of reality, as opposed to revelation. And specifically, we're talking about the Bible here. And I think that they've succeeded in doing that, but not correctly. In other words, they succeeded in deceiving people in that regard. Now, I want to quote from Dawkins here out of the book. It's a quote from the book, and the book is quoting Richard Dawkins. And Richard Dawkins gives us the wrong or an incorrect definition of faith. He says faith is belief that isn't based on evidence. And he says that's the principal vice of any religion. Well, that would be true. If faith wasn't based on religion, that would be a vice. However, the faith in the Bible has always been based on evidence. That's the whole idea behind the Bible. That's the whole idea behind Jesus coming. That's the whole idea about having prophets. In the days of the Israelites wandering in the wilderness, they saw the Red Sea parting. Moses recorded it like a good scientist. He recorded his observations. And that's the evidence that those people in the ancient generations had. That's some of the evidence they had to put their faith in that particular God. These days we have evidence to put our faith in that God, such as the nation of Israel. This was prophesied thousands of years ago, that the history of Israel would be them being thrown out of the land when they rejected the Messiah, and in the end days they would be called back into the land, and eventually there'd be catalysts to provoke them to identify Jesus as the Messiah once again. However, in the meantime, we have that evidence. We see that this is true. God told us this would happen, and it happened. And that's the evidence, and that's how the Bible works. So this premise that this book is based on is incorrect. Here is what he would consider, the author, Powell, would consider an evidence to show us how science has refuted the Bible. And he's wrong, and I'll tell you why. He says, for old-time religions, however, he, meaning the astrophysicist Perlmutter, sees the accelerating universe deflating the stale argument that modern cosmology is just recapitulating the biblical story of creation. The accelerating universe loses that sense that everybody likes to have, that once you find out, science will turn out to be just the same as somebody's myth. Well, this is exactly backwards. This is exactly wrong. What he's saying, as supposed to be deflating to the scriptures, actually confirms the scriptures. There's numerous places, well, not numerous places, but several places in the Bible where God tells the prophet that he has stretched out the heavens. Well, stretching out the heavens is exactly an expanding universe. I mean, this actually confirms what the Bible says directly. And if you think about it, it's very interesting. The Bible says he stretches out the heavens like a curtain, which I find that's particularly interesting, because a curtain starts out with a certain dimension and expands, but it doesn't expand in volume necessarily, but it certainly expands in space. So I think that the very point he was trying to make here is defeated. It's a good book, though. It's an interesting book. It's an excellent read. It has a lot of information about lambda, the cosmological constant that was rejected as dogmatically refuted by the scientific community earlier in the century, and then reintroduced later on when the dogma didn't stand up. So we know that the scientific community can be very dogmatic, and they will just change. Well, we found out that that's not what we meant. Well, see, the Bible doesn't have that luxury. It has to be right all throughout all of history. And as humans' ability for observations increases, I believe it just will converge and confirm the Bible. Exactly what this guy says is not happening is actually happening in my humble opinion. So that's a book that will. This is a book that I've soundly refuted, and I've deflated the atheist hope that science has replaced revelation.